So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq. And it is the Demetra K Show where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always stand a little bit of improvement. So that's why I say even. So, I also like to say a big giant thank you to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants, and you're also the third co-host because we also read every comment. Well, not every. We try to. I read them all, but I try to make sure I mention everybody's comment at least once or 3 or 4 or 5 times, or however many people are on here. So anyway, also like to say a big giant thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything he does behind the scenes on Facebook to make the show go further. Hello, Robin. How are you? And so today we are going to start off talking about, we're not going to necessarily talk about the trial of Megan Thee Stallion, but just kind of some of the things that have kind of come out of it. So I want to talk about that and give a disclaimer and all of that stuff before I get started. Then I also want to open the floor. So if you guys want to talk about something, this is kind of like a Demetra K buffet style show where we're gonna talk about what you guys want to talk about in the comment section. And Donovan, anything you want to talk about, please bring it up. But we are going to start off talking about the situation with Megan Thee Stallion. So let's see who else came on here. Black Tungskin, how are you doing? I hope I said that right. Tungsteen, I hope I said it right. I probably didn't, but shalom to you as well. So Donovan, what say you before we get started?
Well, what I say is that it's Sunday. Well, if it's Sunday, that means it's Demetra K. Welcome to the show, everybody. Do us a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, even become a member. What's even better than that, share this on your platform, because some of your relatives and some of your friends that might not be up on issues might see something that they like and then follow into it and say, hey, well, I didn't know that, whatever the deal is. Would like to say to my fellow Dallas Cowboy fans, see, I told you guys, do not get your hopes up. It's all great during the regular season, but come toward the end, the collapse is inevitable. So a little disappointed that they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars in overtime. It is what it is. So
you win some and you lose a lot. So anyway, who else came on here? Miss Moni, how you doing? I wore my red lipstick one day last week. I don't know if you've seen it. But anyway, say hello to your sugar boo Donovan. And Turner Ira, how are you doing? Walaikum salam to you as well. And so anyway, say New Jersey in the building. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Honestly, didn't really have a lot to talk about today. I mean, there were so many things I could talk about. I kind of backed away from this topic. Didn't want to talk about it originally, but I had some people ask me to do it. So I'm going to talk about it again, not necessarily about the trial. I have been following the trial as a content creator. I have been following it, just to see what's going on with it. But anyway, Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, is on trial for the 2020 alleged shooting of Megan Thee Stallion, also known, her real name is Megan Pete. She was her best friend Kelsey Harris and Tory were at Kylie Jenner's party or something, and something happened there. And then once they left, shooting took place, and Megan was shot in her foot. That is what they're saying. Now it has kind of turned into a whodunit, if you ask me, because they're not really for sure, although Tory is accused of doing it, who actually pulled the trigger, because his DNA is not on the gun. The best friend's DNA is on the gun, but they both have gunshot powder or residue on their hands. So it's a lot going on within that. The trial took place all of last week and is going to continue on tomorrow. There's a lot of, I guess bombshells, if you will, dropped. Now, some of the things that came out of the trial, unfortunately, was that of Megan's sexual past, if you will. I think it was in 2020, maybe 2021. I don't got the dates wrong. Maybe it was earlier this year. I don't know. Megan sat down in an interview with that of the infamous Gayle King. And within that interview, and I kind of blame Gayle as well. And I blame Megan's people, because during that interview, Gail got all up under the clothes. And I know it's going to kind of sound like an oxymoron because Megan Thee Stallion is sexually free, if you will, judging by her music and, some of the things she says. But during this particular interview, Gayle King kind of talked under her clothes and asked her about her sexual history with that of Tory Lanez. Then she asked her, have you been, intimate with him? And she says, oh, no, I've never been in an intimate relationship with him. Then during the trial, she admitted that she was, and this, that, and the other. All right. And so also it's discovered that she had, and I don't want to turn this into a gossipy thing. And let me say this before I get started. This is not to demonize Megan or anybody, because indeed she is the victim. Let's just keep it real. She is the victim of somebody. She was shot in her feet. I don't know who did it, but I just want to put that out there that she is the victim. And I'm not trying to bring any of this stuff up to say she doesn't deserve justice. So I just want to put that out there. And I also would love to have a mature conversation with everybody. Just, I don't feel like I need to say that, but I guess that I do. So anyway, during the trial, it was kind of said that the fight was over because it was a fight in the car between Megan, Tory, and the best friend. Sounds like Tory, he's also a singer. He disclosed to Kelsey that, hey, Megan sleeps with quite a few of your boyfriends behind your back, including me. And then a melee, ensued, if you will. And so unfortunately, there's been a lot of backlash against that of Megan Thee Stallion. They are calling it misogynoir, which means misogyny or sexism against Black women. So, of course, misogyny means dislike, despising, and prejudice against women. And then if you put in Black women, they call it misogynoir. So there's a lot of things, conversation going forth online about her not telling the truth. And more notably, 50 Cent the Troll, he puts this up on his page. And so if you can see here, it's an image of Megan Thee Stallion, and then it kind of transitions into that of Jussie Smollett. Of course, you guys know that he infamously accused Trump supporters of beating him up and being racist toward him during the height of the pandemic in Chicago at 2:00 in the morning one day. He said they put a noose around his neck, poured bleach on him, and called him, a derogatory name against the LGBT community. Then, of course, he went to court, found out, he was found to be guilty of lying, per se. So that's what this is. And of course, 50 says, damn, I'm confused. All of this shit going around. I don't know what to think. So, of course, 50 Cent is the biggest, one of the biggest trolls around. So he's also getting a lot of heat for, messing with that of Megan Thee Stallion. And so she also said, after she testified, which it sounds like was pretty grueling for her, even in the trial, she says, I don't know why I have to be going through this type of thing. Like, why do I have to, I can't, but she says, I can't believe that I have to do this, per se, right? So then after she testified, this was a statement that she made. She says, I feel disgusted. I feel dirty. My own partner is embarrassed. It also says that I can't even be happy. I don't want to talk to friends or family. Then she goes on to say, I don't want to live. I wish he had just shot and killed me if I had to go through this torture. And so I thought it was very important to put her statement up, because we never want to engage in bullying people, regardless of how we feel about Megan Thee Stallion. I feel like what 50 did is a form of bullying. And here she is saying that, it's torture to her, and kind of indicating that she didn't indicate, it wasn't even implied, it was expressed that she does not want to live. And so we want to uplift her. I know that I do, as best as possible, and not tear her down. But I do want to have a conversation with you all. And after all I just said, of course, there's a lot. Is this deserved? Like, does her past negate what happened to her? So I'm going to get to you guys' comments. Donovan, what say you?
I haven't really been following this stupidness that is going on in this culture that these younger people seem to be having, this city girl culture, this thuggish, whatever culture, whatever you call it. But it's amazing to me that, yes, she was a victim of a so-called crime, and the district attorney felt there was enough evidence to charge someone. But here's the problem. Could it be, from what we are seeing, and what we've heard so far, I don't know who's innocent, I don't know who's guilty. I'm not on the jury, but my opinion is we have to damn sure make sure that justice does prevail. Does Megan Thee Stallion's reputation and how she feels more important than another black man getting 8 to 10, or I don't know how many years he's going to be charged if he gets it, 8 to 10 or 12 years? Do you know?
It's 22, and he's actually being charged with assault with a semi-automatic, carrying an unregistered firearm in a car, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. So those are the charges.
Correct. And from what I do understand of the case is, when you fire a discharge weapon, nitrogen is always going to be on your hands. Some kind of nitrite is going to be on your hands. You can get nitrite on your hands from opening a brand new book. How many of you guys know that? In the test, from what the defense has put in, I guess, is he had no nitrate on his hands. So my question is, how do you fire a gun and not have nitrate deposits on your hands? Which to me right there,
well, they're saying he did. So he did have gunpowder on his hands, but they said that they can't really conclusively say that there was DNA of him on the gun.
Correct. Right. But that's why I clarified it with, you can get nitrate by opening a book. You can get it on a brand new book or whatever, a fairly brand new book. So my point is this. There's now reasonable doubt in my mind, from what I've heard of the case so far, that, we're looking at a man losing his freedom. That's very important. That's very important than someone's reputation. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. Freedom is more important than somebody's reputation. If he did the crime, let him do the time. But as we have seen, lies have already come out, and I've sat on a jury. Demetra sat on a jury, and I'm telling you, I've heard some lavish stuff, and I'm telling you, I got a person hung juried because the evidence just was not there. So I'm going to pray that justice be done for Megan Thee Stallion and all of those people that are involved, and let the perpetrator be done. But right now, from what I've seen and from her testimony, I have reasonable doubt now, because it seems to me 2 girlfriends were messing around with the dude, and this thing has just gotten out of hand.
Yes, indeed. And so if y'all want to talk about anything else, please, this is the Sunday to throw it in the chat and we will discuss. But I kind of wanted to just start off talking about this again. The trial is ongoing. There's a lot going on. I personally think somebody is going to make this a movie of the week because it's just a lot going on, right? It's not an open and shut type of thing. To me, like I said, it really does read more like a who done it. Like, y'all remember, I'm old enough to remember who shot JR, right, from Dallas a long time ago. So that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's not really cut and dry. Only thing that's really cut and dry is that she was indeed shot, but it's like, by who, right? So there's a lot going on. All right, so let me jump in the comment section. And True Monger, how are you doing? It says character will always be called into question whether people like it or not. I totally agree. It's a thing called propensity. Do you have a propensity to lie or do certain things? And so I think it's fair to say that she has kind of been caught in a few lies, she being Megan Thee Stallion. But I think the other argument too is that she's not on trial. It's actually Tory that's on trial, but it's kind of been spun into a Megan and Tory trial type of thing. So, I just want to put that out there. All right. And so Black Tungsten, you say this is no bullying zone, and that is this is not victim blaming. However, your actions have consequences. If you want to cross the bridge, you gotta pay the toll. So I know I totally agree, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there because sometimes people be doing the most, and that is not my intentions, because I do believe that she is a victim. It's just in question, which is why they're on trial. Who done it, right? All right, and so let's see here. Paul L, how are you doing? It says if she's found to be a liar, liars get what they get. Yeah, but what is she lying about being shot? That's the thing. I think people are like, because her fan base called the hotties They're hashtagging all over. I stand with Megan. Her past, as far as sexually, should not be brought to trial. It's not about what she's done in the past. And I mean, I agree. I don't think it's about her what she's done in the bedroom. Donovan?
But you got to remember, this is the law. The defense attorney is going to use whatever advantage they need to use to win the case. It's as simple as that. If they're going to bring in your sexual thing, they're going to bring it in. I mean, if that's a case that angle that they can work, they're going to bring that in. So it isn't how you feel. Like I said, an attorney, especially a defense attorney, is going to do whatever they need to do to make their client go free. Look at what happened with O.J. Simpson. If it doesn't acquit, if it doesn't fit my cap, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit, right? I mean, whatever it takes to sow reasonable doubt. And that's what they're doing. So, I mean, and that's just how the law works. It doesn't matter how you feel.
Yes, indeed. So I'm going to kind of just, like I said, I'm going to be jumping back and forth with different things that you all bring up. So Tatiana Jefferson, of course, you guys know she was shot in Dallas a few years back as she was playing video games with her nephew. She was shot by a police officer who kind of like just blindly shot into her house, killing her. So he was finally found guilty. I think, was it like manslaughter or something? 2 to 8 years. And forgive me, I don't know exactly the years, but I think 2 years is the bottom. Maybe 8 or 10 is the top number. Will he actually get those years? Who knows? But definitely a slap on the wrist for taking someone's life simply for playing a game in, with her nephew. Now they're saying that the door was open or something like that. Maybe they thought it was an intruder. They didn't really do their job, proper protocol to see exactly what was going on. So Tatiana never even knew what hit her. But I do not think justice was served. But some would argue it's a miracle that he went to trial or even was, charged and convicted in the first place. So I don't know.
Yeah. Quick question. Did the city, did they settle with the family yet? Because I didn't hear anything after this woman was brutally slain. I didn't hear anything about the aftermath. I mean, was Mushmouth Crump down there to do a settlement or something, some kind of financial settlement to...
I'm not sure, but I would imagine there was some sort of a settlement paid out. I can't say for sure, but I would imagine so. And again, Benjamin Crump is not a defense attorney. He is civil rights attorney. So just want to put that out there, where he goes and he gets the money. And hello, Jay. How are you doing? It says, hey, Demetra, in the house, girl. We down here celebrating the World Cup win. Hello, Donovan. What's up? And who won? I mean, I haven't been following the World Cup. I've seen it, but I don't know who won. So who won? And then you also say, yeah, let's hope justice is served. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, Megan Thee Stallion does deserve justice. I feel like there's levels to it. Maybe we can get into it just a little bit later on. But anything else y'all want to talk about, we can. But I think at the end of the day, she deserves justice, regardless of what happens. I don't think anybody should be able to pull out a gun and solve their anger in that manner. Whoever it was, I don't know who it was because I wasn't there, right? So it's kind of hard to say at this point. And Daryl Murray, how are you doing? And Dwayne, what's going on? He says, sounds it seems like their freak show is backfiring on them. Cut the check. And Lioness Den, how are you? He says she is the one who went on mass lamestream media and lied about never having relations with that man. Is the same to lie on a man about assaulting her, if you will. Yeah, I mean, it's problematic in that she did lie. My thing is this, and in the beginning, I said I think it's a PR issue. Because when I think about Tory, Megan, and whoever else is involved in this, I think about where's their PR people? Because I would have never allowed, even as a Megan's lawyer, I would have never allowed her to go on Gayle King's show and even answer such questions. If I was Megan, I would have said, well, that's none of anybody's business, really. Has nothing to do with why we are here. But unfortunately, I think people they don't do their research when it comes to Gayle King. She doesn't really care about Black people the way she claims that she does. She's looking for the got you moment. And I don't think Megan thought that would come up. That would be an issue of whether she slept with him or not. So I just think that they need better PR people. I'm available if they looking for people, you know.
Yeah, and it's funny that you're talking about that. Now, I want to bring up this too. Notice that when you're outside of the court, you can tell all the lies you want. You can put all spin on it that you want, right? So let's go back to Donald Trump and his people. Donald Trump went to the courts 60 times, Rudy Giuliani and all those people, right? Not once did they allege any misdoing or the thing was stolen. Not while they were in court, but outside the court, they will. See, because you want to know why they do that is because when you go to court and you lie, you can be charged with a crime. So that's why, it's like when you're on that stand, you're supposed to, tell it like it is, or it's going to come out, sooner or later or whatever, and they can charge you with a crime. That's why you always get two stories. So if you have your little MAGA people out there, say 60 times, they went to the courts and not once did they talk about malfeasance and a stolen election or any of that stuff.
Yes, indeed. And Michael, so again, y'all want to talk about some other stuff, please throw it in the chat. And Mr. Michael, how are you doing? It says Donovan and Demetra, what is your opinion about causes of gun violence? Well, I mean, we could be here forever. There's a lot of causes of gun violence, but I like to say, and I always say, and a lot of people say as well, guns do not cause the violence. The people cause the violence. And so and it's different for different people, right? It's not, at some places, it's emotional intelligence or the lack thereof. Not being able to control anger, just blind fury, crime. So there's a lot of reasons why there's gun violence. We couldn't just narrow it down to one thing. But I always think that people, if they had a better command of emotional intelligence and ask themselves, what is it going to cost me to do A, B, C, or D? Then I personally think that gun violence will go down. Some people argue, oh, there's too many guns on the streets. There's always going to be too many guns on the streets. America has the most guns than anybody on the planet. So that's never going to go away. But we need to learn how to be more emotionally capable so that we do not have gun violence. All right. So Truemonger, you say the sentencing will be on Monday. And Mr. Pirebrain says, so the officer in the Tatiana Jefferson case is looking at 2 to 20 years. Okay. And Antisocial Naj, how are you doing? It says Misogynoir. Y'all have to stop making up words. Hey, listen, I didn't make that word up. That is a word that has been trending around. It's not an old word. It's fairly new. I would say probably, probably maybe within the last 10, 20, 15 years, something like that. It's not a word that I made up, but it is a word nevertheless. It is a mixture between sexism and race regarding Black women. But that is the term that is being used in regards to the treatment that Megan Thee Stallion is receiving. So Robbie, you say 2 to 20 years, but he'll probably get 10 years or less. Yeah, I don't see that man even get, I think probably 2 and a slap on the wrist or something. Only Pamela's way. How you doing? And Mr. Pirebrain says her family died. Yes, her father and a couple other people, Tatiana Jefferson's, I think really just through, heartbreak and stuff like that. Super Patriot says she was murdered, in my opinion. Oh, most definitely she was. And Truemonger says if they got his surety bond, maybe. Mr. Pirebrain says her mother and father both died. Yes, indeed. And Misty Eyed, how are you doing? Says yes, Meg has any discomfort coming to her. And can you expound on that? And Jay says Argentina, we won, mama, ha ha ha. Okay, so Argentina. All right, well, congratulations. And Michael says, what is the issue between Megan and Lanez? It's just a lot of nonsense, if you ask me. High emotions sound like it took place, but he is accused of shooting her in the foot, the feet, I guess maybe 1 foot, one night in 2020. And so she's receiving a lot of backlash, and they're calling it misogynoir, sexism against a Black woman. And our Star Jammer, how are you doing? It says you can have nitrates from your fish tank water. Okay, so I mean, if you ask me, I've been following the case. I definitely think there's a lot of reasonable doubt that has been injected in the case. As far as I see, I'm not saying he didn't do it, or I'm not saying that. This looks like if I was on the jury, I would have a hard time saying that beyond a reasonable doubt that he did it, because there's just so much stuff that's just kind of in there. It's not cut and dry, as I said. The motive, I don't know, Michael. It's kind of all over the place. Some are saying that it's jealousy involved. It's a lot of nonsense, to be honest with you. And Bama boy, how you doing? Says the doctor says she had glass in her foot, plus she was drunk and had a drinking problem. So some people saying it was glass, and one expert said it was glass. One said that it was metal fragments. So it sounds like they still have a lot of witnesses and stuff that need to come forward. So like I said, that's why I would have a hard time saying that for sure that he did it, because there's so much going on, right? Megan and the best friend or the ex-best friend, they're not even telling the same story, right? For example, Megan is saying that Tory was out of the car and shot her, but the best friend is saying that he was climbed in the front seat and was reaching over the passenger seat and shot her. So they don't even have him in the same place, during said shooting. So like I said, there's a lot of discrepancies going on. Let's see here. And Misty I says, it has everything to do with why we are here. Duh. And True Margaret says, apparently they were all intoxicated. Yeah, they were coming back from Kylie Jenner's party, one of the Kardashians. And True Margaret saying, perjury. And you guys, if you're on Facebook and you see this and you want me to read your comment, please click on the link. I would love to. Missy I says her best friend at the time shot Megan because she found out in the limo she was sleeping with Tory while she left the state with COVID. So that is the other allegation, not just Tory, but a couple of other of her boyfriends as well. It sounds like Megan took the liberty of, getting really close with. That's what they're saying. And it sounds like that's what Tory had disclosed to Kelsey in the night in question. All right. And so Donovan says, let's talk about Surviving R. Kelly, the final chapter. I heard that there's one coming out. I haven't seen anything about it. I have not watched them. I watched a little bit of one when it was on, but I have not gotten involved in that. I just think it's just to further make sure that R. Kelly is a done deal. Of course, last week, somebody released his album called I Admit, or I Admitted or something. Sounds like it was unauthorized. Needless to say, it was taken down rather quickly. A lot of people were not happy because they were like, it was pretty good. Why did it take it down? So the documentary, I'm like, okay, y'all got the man in jail. He's not even done with all these trials. Like, what else do you want from him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing is what this is going to tie up is, remember, they got R. Kelly on a RICO statute, basically. One man is not a organization, right? So what they're saying is, like, the assistants and the people that aided him, they're going to start outing these people and kind of saying, why aren't these people being, out into it? But one of my questions from what I've heard from the trailer is, his ex-wife is not going to be in it. Now, allegedly, according to some people that have been in the previous episodes and the up one currently, some of the victims have said that Drea Kelly allegedly was there when all this stuff was going on. So, why aren't they picking up these people that assisted him and all this other stuff? And that's what they allege to say that this final chapter is about, to indict some of these other people in regards to bringing them to justice or whatever, or at least having you think about, wait a minute. He couldn't have done all this by himself. If the man can't read or write, I mean, how did he book the plane tickets? How did he book, he had an assistant to do that. So why wasn't she charged? So it's going to be interesting. But like you said, the man is in jail for the rest of his life for all we know. What's the point? But you got to make money somehow.
Absolutely. And Brother Marcus, he says, right now, supporting Haiti is the fight that unites us all, African and Black people worldwide. They are being starved and financially pushed for the refusal to become slaves. We must demand that they be made whole 5 times the amount taken. So I totally agree with you on that. Brother Marcus, I do. I don't think any Black people around the world, and, I was in the DR, so I've seen the stuff that is going on with the Haitians. But my question to you is, or I guess my statement is, like, Black people over here that close to being slaves. You know what I mean? So it's like, we kind of got our own thing. I'm not saying we should negate them. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like, how do we do both, right? Because Black people, we ain't got a pot either to piss in over here. You know what I mean? So how do we do both, if you don't mind me asking? All right. And so, and Momo Monroe, how are you doing? He says, I didn't know Megan Thee Stallion was sleeping around like that with a lot of men in the industry. Yeah, and a lot of people are sleeping around, just don't have the platform that she does. You know what I mean? But the other thing is, that's what she sings about. She sings about that kind of stuff. And I thought it was funny, not ha funny, but it's like Megan ain't even the stuff she talking about. You know what I mean? Well, maybe. But I guess what I'm trying to say is she's ashamed. She's ashamed of the stuff that she's being accused of, but it's like not really ashamed when she's rapping about it. So I say that to say people who are following her need to take note of that. Megan doesn't even really want to own that label, because I showed y'all her statement and that she, felt like she didn't want to be here and all the backlash she's getting. So she doesn't even want to own that statement. So why should you? That's an image that has been produced for her, maybe, and she's ashamed of it. She says, my partner or boyfriend was also in the industry, he's embarrassed, things like that. But it's like, is he embarrassed when you're talking about WAP and stuff? So I'm saying all that to say, like, listen closely to what she's really saying. That I don't really like that after all, right? So anyway, John G, how are you doing? And Mr. Pybrain says, shot in the pinky toe like the Eddie Murphy movie. Yeah, and that's what the allegation was, where he said dance B like they did in Harlem Nights. And let's see here. And True Marguerite says, glass or bullet fragments? Yeah, that is the question. Momo, you says, how did he shoot someone? His fingerprints is not on the gun, and her key witness is who is the bodyguard that's missing. So they're saying that his DNA is inconclusive as to whether it's on the gun or not. So they can't say for sure that it's on the gun, but they say for sure that the best friend Kelsey's is on the gun, and it's Megan's bodyguard that's missing in action. He's supposed to testify tomorrow, but as of now, I don't know if he's, surfaced, but that is her bodyguard. Beverly, how are you doing? Since Botham Jean, Tatiana Jefferson, Breonna Taylor, that's too many people killed by police in their own home. And there's so many more, you know what I mean? Dating back forever. But I totally agree with you. And Yanni, how are you doing? You say, where'd he go? Says, I'm so late, church finger up, the Baptist finger, no, you're right on time. We're only 30 minutes in. And Momo says her bodyguard is supposed to testify and he is missing. So it's actually, yeah, so you're right. It's her bodyguard. Says they put out a missing person on him. He's running away from the BS as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people are just like, you know what? I don't really want to be caught up in this, right? Rob T, how you doing? Says she brought it upon herself. Momo says Megan Thee Stallion got mad because Kylie and Tory was about to get it in. That's the allegation as well, that he was flirting with Kylie. And she was upset about that. And Kylie Jenner actually kicked her out. During her testimony, she says that Kylie didn't kick her out. But all the other testimony that's gone forth say, yeah, Kylie did kick her out of the party. So that's kind of another thing that she wasn't really truthful about. I don't know. And then Michael, he says, it's better to be in African nations where gun violence is not massive, according to Philip Scott. I mean, I totally agree with you. America, they said, is like about 350 million guns that outnumber people in America. So, there's this tagline that says America has a love affair with guns. And so, yeah, we got a lot of them here. And let's see here. Momo says, but they said Megan, when she gets drunk, she is horrible. She likes to fight. I mean, and that could be the case too, and Jay, you say, Donovan, what do you do about the $55 billion that the Biden admin is offering to the African Union? So I think you meant, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like I said, he's going to give money to everybody else but ADOS and the people, fundamental blacks that are based here. And the sad thing about it is we gonna vote for Master Biden again because he's doing so much. It's just so sad that, he's doing it right in your face and just telling you, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. If I didn't have hair, I'd pull it out right now because I'm just so disappointed that we have all of these bootlicks in Congress and at all levels of leadership that remain silent and say nothing about this. You get it. I get it. All of you guys get it. and we're seeing this stuff done, and yet these people who're supposed to represent us and our best interests remain silent. It's frustrating.
And tell it like it is. How you doing? He says, well, at least R. Kelly has all the time in the world to learn how to read now. Lord have mercy. I think he said he knows how to read now. And John, he says, poverty and self-hate is a cause, yep, of gun violence. That's why I said there's levels to it, right? And Marcus says, and I'm glad you made the statement about us having our own issues over here in the U.S. The difference is we can unite and fight, but choose not to. But in the case of Haitian people, they are being locked out with little support and nowhere to turn. So, yeah, I mean, I totally agree. They do need help. They need help. I mean, we know that the United States is not really interested in helping Haiti. Look what happened when they tried to come over here. You know, they sent them. They always send them right back. And so I don't know exactly what needs to be done with Haiti, but it's horrible. But they're only slightly worse off than we are over here. You know what I mean? So.
Right. And isn't it crazy? You could be of Latin descent and come over this border. We'll give you all the resources and everything you need. You could be Russian or Ukrainian. You could be Afghan and come over here. Right. They give you all the resources. But the minute you are Haitian and Black, they're beating you with whips and sending you back over to Rio Grande and bringing in planes to fly you back into Haiti, a failed state. It's just it's sad. It's sad.
Yes, indeed. So, Michael, you're asking Donovan about interaction with Blazers. Did you answer that already?
I'm not sure what he meant by that. Interactions with Blasians.
Yeah, expound upon that. Blasians is Black and Asian. So,
yeah,
if you can, Michael, expound upon that so we'll know. Yeah. And let's see who else came on here. And VFR3, how are you doing? It says, why should she get a pass? Well, I'm not saying Megan should get a pass per se. I think we should not converge both issues of her sexual past and her being shot, because indeed she was shot. You know what I mean? Or from at least they're saying she was injured to some degree, right? That is the allegation, that she was shot. If indeed she was shot, she's a victim, you know? And while I get her sexual past is brought up because it shows that she has a tendency to lie. And that's good for Tory, that they were able to say, bring up that, well, she lied about that. I just think that she should have had better people on her team. And I wondered that as I'm listening to the trial, like who, because I know her mom is gone, her dad is gone, her grandma's gone. So I'm like, who is a circle of influence to say, for one, sit down, and two, like, where's the lawyers, her PR? Like, does she have anybody that can get a hold of her? And if Gayle King would have came calling, be like, we're not going on her show. You know, she liked to try to do gotcha stuff to try to be, you know, the most relevant person in the room. But I don't think she should have answered that question. I think she should have told Gayle, that's none of your business. And, you know, she lied. Let's put it that way. She lied. I don't think it's unusual for people to lie about their sexual past, right? Because in a lot of cases, especially with women, one man is too many. You know what I mean? So I get why she lied, but it's kind of like, now they can show that you have a tendency to lie. That's why that is important. So,
or we can say she's living what she's talking about. It's one or the other, you know?
Yeah. And Rob T says, for a woman, all she has to say is, I'm upset. The world has to stop. And not only does she not have credibility, she's using her female privilege to get people to back off. It's not bullying, it's BS. Well, no, I totally get where you're going with that. Because I don't believe, there's this saying that says, believe all women. I think that's hogwash. I don't think that we should run around believing all women, because not all women tell the truth and some women lie. So I don't agree with that. But I don't think that, I think it can come off as bullying. And if the girl is saying that, you know, she does not want to be here anymore, I think we, as the public, I think we should lay off of that. You know what I mean? I don't think that's our right to berate her and to bully her. I think she's probably going through enough. That's just not something I'm willing to participate in. Now, like I said, I have my theories of what happened, but I wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, can I ask you this, though? When you're a public figure and you put yourself into the public eye like that, are you not scrutiny to what comes with that fame and that fortune and all that other stuff. I'm just saying, I understand where you're saying with that, but you got to have thicker skin if you're going to be in the public eye like that, shouldn't you?
I get where you're going. You know, my younger brother has a saying, with the fame comes the blame. You know, it's kind of like both of them come with being famous. However, I think, unfortunately, and we talk about this a lot on this thing called the internet, you have people who sit behind the keyboard and they say things to people and post things that they would never say in the grocery store to people, right? And it's also easier when you don't have the platform, where you don't have people talking about you 24/7 and this, that, and the other. So I think, yeah, that comes with the territory, but it's like, as grown people, most of them grown people on the internet, do you have to do that to people? Because it does become a form of bullying. It does. I mean, there's a lot of people who talk about that. It becomes a form of bullying. And I'm one of those people that I don't feel compelled to answer any questions personally about myself that I don't want to disclose on my own. And so, yeah, I think you do need a thick skin, but I think us being on the internet, I think we need to have some discretion as well. Rob T says, did she shoot herself? Did they test her? I mean, it's a whodunit. It really is like a true life whodunit. Gilvetta, how are you doing this evening? And Robbie says her past does matter, because if she has sexual relationship with Tory, then she is biased towards him. That's why it matters. Yeah, I mean, it could matter, but I'm saying that I don't think it would have came up in the first place if she did not go on Gail's show, maybe, because that's where it kind of came out, where she's like, oh no, you know, type of like, she's kind of like disgusted when she asked. But then it turns out that she did have relations, and not only did she have relations with him, he was originally with her best friend that was in the car, and Megan hooked up with him behind her back, along with 2 or 3 other guys that her friend was in a relationship with. So,
and you know, and let me add to that too. You know, maybe she's embarrassed for this simple fact that, okay, and I'm not like trying to judge anybody or, you know, whatever, but Megan Thee Stallion, she's the stallion of a woman. She's very, you know, big, voluptuous, whatever. Tory Lanez is a pretty small guy. Okay. All right. So, you know, when a lot of women look at guys, what do they say, fellas? The 3 6s, 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 whatever, right? I mean, Tory Lanez isn't 6 feet, you know, and he's a average looking guy. He isn't a Derek Jackson or what do these girls think, these guys that are attractive, whatever type. So like maybe she was embarrassed by that in the interview with Gayle King, and she was trying to like, oh no, I would never. Oh no, him, no. I'm Megan Thee Stallion. I would get. But it's, to me, it seems like if Tory Lanez could ride that beast, he's got my vote.
So VFR3, that is I guess a neighbor is supposed to testify this week that I think he saw them fighting, but they're saying they weren't fighting. But they're saying, nah, they was definitely fighting. And the neighbor's also supposed to testify that I saw when the flash took place, that he saw a woman next to the flash other than Megan. That's what he's going to testify. Also, the police officer, when they got there, they, because they have markers where evidence and stuff is on the scene. There was fingernails and other effects like jewelry and stuff in the street, as though a fight took place. Although they're saying, they being Megan and the friend, I guess they're saying that they weren't fighting, but that somebody lying. Put it that way.
Was there any weave in the street? That way we know there was a fight.
I don't know about all that. And Truemonger says every adult has a body count. Yeah, I would say to some degree they do, some more than others. I give that a yes, indeed. Thank you so much for the reminder. If y'all could please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe, like, I would love and appreciate you. And Jay says Snoop Dogg told us about Stale King not disrespecting the sister, but we know she ain't with us. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Where was Megan's people saying, Gail ain't it? Don't go on there. But see, the other thing too is this is kind of how some of our elder women mislead our young girls. Y'all remember when Maxine Waters was talking with Megan Thee Stallion about the audacity of WAP? Y'all know what WAP is. If y'all don't, go Google it. But Maxine Waters is in her 80s, I guess, and she's talking to Megan Thee Stallion about, oh, that's a great, if I'm paraphrasing, but it's a great song and it's bold type of thing, instead of saying, baby, that ain't it. You don't be talking up under your clothes. And first of all, I am a representative of Congress, and I will not be talking about no WAP, which instead she egged it on. So we need, this is my opinion, we need some of the elder women to come back and say, all right, I kind of know I dropped the ball on y'all, you women, a little bit. Let me come back in and try to teach y'all some good sense. Let me try to be a good role model. But I think Megan Thee Stallion, I don't even think she's 30. I don't know. She's probably like 28, 29 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe she's 30. Doesn't sound like she has a lot of good people around her to really say, hey, you know, and I understand she was with Rock Nation, so that also Jay-Z's label. So I don't know. It doesn't sound like she has a lot of good people around her to say, hey, I need you to sit down and just take a deep breath, you know, whatever. So VFR3 says they talked horrible about Amber Heard. Yeah, Amber Heard. That's the one that accused Johnny Depp of a whole bunch of stuff. And it sounds like a lot of that stuff wasn't true. I don't know. I didn't really follow it a lot like that. True Margaret says a lot of internet gangsters who would never have the guts to say most of what they type to the actual person. Trust me, they don't. There's all frogginess behind the keyboard. And Bronze Rage, how are you doing? Robbie says, no, she lied about sleeping with him. And she said it was Tory. She's a liar. We don't know. So that means she could have shot herself, probably was the bodyguard, but that's not the point. I mean, it, like I said, it's a whodunit. It could be anybody at this point that was involved in that, because it's just all over the place, right? And there's a lot of doubt to say that maybe it wasn't Tory. You know what I mean? And that's kind of good for him, because you need to be certain if you're going to send a man up the river for 22 years, because that's what he's looking at. And Gavetta says, per what they are stating, all of them were tested for gun residue, and only Tory and the ex best friend had it on them. Yes, so that's what I understand as well. And Rob T says she's clearly a liar. A liar, clearly. Yes, I think that has been established that Megan did lie. I think that's established. Nobody's saying that she's not lying, but like I said, for Tory, that's actually kind of a Hail Mary for him, because it does show that she has a propensity to lie. So if she'll lie about these things, then will she also lie about him shooting her? So they definitely have, you know, good standing to ask those questions. Michael says, Donovan, you talked about opening up a Black-owned supermarket, etc. Why are you not interested in starting one outside of Moreno Valley? So did you answer that question?
No, I haven't answered that one. Basically, it is very expensive to start a food area, especially here in California. And it's something that I'm not a green thumb type person, so that's something I wouldn't be interested in. But I would invest in something like that. Somebody really has a passion for it.
Yes, indeed. Let's see here. And Gavetta says all three of them are lying. And really, I believe Meg and the ex best friend got into an argument, and the ex best friend may have shot her. That could be it, you know, because originally the best friend was pleading the fifth. She didn't want to answer anything, but I guess the judge felt like she made such a mockery of the court and kind of wasted the prosecution's time. They weren't going to admit that her testimony from September, but they says, you know what, since you jerked the court around, we're going to admit it into evidence now. So, because she pled the fifth because she didn't want to self-incriminate. That's what she said. But they was like, nah, all immunity is off the table now because you done played so many games with the court. And that was her best friend.
Now, why is it that the judges are so quick to do that for everyday people? When it comes to Donald Trump, they give him extension after extension and all this grace.
I think because you're talking apples and oranges with Donald Trump is one of them. You know what I mean? Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez and Kelsey, they're not one of them. I think by now we should understand. I mean, what January 6th happened in 2021. So 2 years ago, almost to, you know, in a couple of weeks, it'll be 2 years. They wanted Donald Trump. They would have got him. Everybody damn near that they caught up have been in jail. Some of them been out already. So they really were interested in trying Donald Trump or holding him accountable. They would have done it a long time ago. They're not interested in it. They know that it's fodder for us, if you will, to fight about. Donald Trump needs to go to jail January 6th, but they're not interested in doing that. And so we know that Donald Trump does not have the same classification, if you will, than Megan Thee Stallion or Tory Lanez. So that's why.
Yeah, and real quick, I honestly believe that they're waiting for Donald Trump to die. I mean, that's why, because if they have to convict this man, or if they even have to indict this man, that's an indictment on whiteness right there. So, I mean, that's, to me, that's why they've kind of been hoping this man would either, go to sleep.
Yes, indeed. And Michael, you asked about whether I would like to stay in rural, or I think you said urban South Africa. For me, I'd have to say urban, only because I don't know a lot about the rural part just yet, although I've seen some of the rural part. But I would stick to the urban part for now.
See, now here's a woman who's a member of the Zulu tribe talking about she would be in the urban part. Shame on you. Shame.
I ain't gonna lie to Kid, okay? Jessica says, didn't Hillary give her some accolades too for WAP empowerment? I think she did. So that's what I'm saying. It's like these older women, it's like, that's a pretty nasty song. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's no redemption in that song. There's nothing that one, especially an older woman, can say, oh, but I just, like Betty White said, Betty White rather, when tonight is the night, and she says her mama listened to the song, she was like, I like the music, but I know you're not gonna sing that song, so where's those women at? Like, yeah, the music is nice, but I don't like what you're gonna say, right? So yeah. True Market says Amber Heard played herself. Yeah, she did. It sounds like she was trying to do a number on that of Johnny Depp. Ruined his career and cost him a lot of money. I mean, and cost a lot of other people a lot of money as well. Robin says, if my mama talked like Maxine, I would put her in a nursing home. Shaking my head. And Rob says, right, beast. Yeah, that's there, Donovan. I heard him say that. Let's see here. Moni, you say, I say Megan is on some BS and she's proving to be a 403. And he says, to the 25th power, I'm not liking this new anti-religious bill going to go in against those people that spoke against Kanye and Kyrie. So you're talking about the task force that Joe Biden is forming in regards to combating that of anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial. And they also are saying in other religious bigotry. But to me, it sounds like the anti-Asian hate crime bill as well, where they'll go on and say, oh, it's for everybody, but then they'll label it one thing. So I totally agree with you. And Nini, I hope I said that right, or Nine, I think it is. Jay, how you doing? He says, Gayle King might have asked about Tory because he told the story in his music about three of them and feeling was involved. A lot of people forgot about the Tory music and telling people that Rock Nation's behind it. So you're saying that he talked about it, so that's why maybe she was asked. Okay, well, that's making some sense. I still think that Megan should have said, I'm not going to talk about that. That's what I do behind closed doors, is not something that I want to discuss here. That's what I would have said, right? Then I would have said, and Gail, how do you like it? What do you do behind your bedroom? Then, we would have changed the subject that way. Michael says, Donovan, I'm confused about you saying that Black people should not go to Asian businesses, even though you have an Asian friend. Does your Asian friend know about your message? So did you answer that already? Okay, cool. And VFR3 says, do you believe Megan was actually protecting Tory by not telling the police? Yeah, so that's what she said as well, that at the time, I guess, that George Floyd situation had happened. And so in our community, this is what she's kind of testifying, understand, in our community, we don't really like to get the police involved with things. And so she felt like she was protecting him, which is why she didn't go to the police. It's plausible. It's plausible that was the case. But something tells me it was a little bit more to it. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to just keep it real with you. Somebody shoot me, I'm calling the popo. I don't care. Hello? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I tend to think maybe it was something else. It could have been. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just kind of spinning my wheels. It could have been because he didn't do it. That could be it. I don't know. But then the other part of me, because I'm one of those people that's kind of green to a lot of stuff. Even at the age of 51, I'm still really green and naive to a lot of stuff. And I believe the good in a lot of people. And so the other part of me is like, well, damn. that sure would be cold and calculating and evil for her to flat out lie on him, right? I'm not saying she is not capable, because it sounds like Joe Budden also came out. Joe Budden is kind of problematic too, but he came out and says that she's a horrible person and that she's also done some horrible things to people that he knows. This is what he said yesterday. I don't know exactly what that is, but that's the allegation that he put out. So I don't know. Anything is possible. And let's see. True Margaret says Hillary is the same one who said Margaret Sanger was her hero. True indeed. So you're right. And once again, hello, Sunlight. How are you doing? LS, how are you doing? It says, while I'm late, hi, sis. What's up, Donovan? Salute to the chat. Oh, you are right on time. We've got another hour to be here. Yes, it's actually 3:04, True Monger. And Robin says, I like the melody, but the words, I know you're not going to sing that song. Yeah. That's what her Betty Wright was saying. Her mama was saying when she was previewing tonight as the night for her. Mama was like, no, I don't like those lyrics. So that's where Maxine Waters should have been. Well, I like the music, but WAP? No, young lady, no. But she said it was audacity. LS says they got the ADL. What else do they want? Damn. So you talk about as far as Biden and the task force that they are putting together, right? And they said that they're forming the task force because of the recent stuff that came out with Kanye, Kyrie, Trump inviting people to their house, and along with Elon Musk now purchasing Twitter and kind of allowing free speech to go on. So you've seen a lot of things being said that you wouldn't have ordinarily seen under the leadership of Jack Dorsey, which is also sounds like Jack Dorsey was more on the Democrat side and Elon not so much. So True Margaret says Tory always talks too much. You know what? I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. I tend to think a lot of men nowadays talk too much. Men nowadays more so than I think any generation, and maybe it's because of the internet. Maybe men always talk too much, but I feel like a lot of men, it's kind of odd the way men. It's like gossipy, right? Like you see a lot of men gossiping on the internet. It's like, wow, times sure are changing, But then there's a lot of things that men are doing now that you didn't see him doing a couple of years ago. So I don't know. And let's see. Mona says, I think they need to go ahead and convict your beloved 45, at least make it where he can't run again. That would be good. It's time to let somebody else run for office. Proof is here. Well, he's not my beloved. I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter. Although I have said that if it came a choice between Biden and Trump, I was going to do a protest vote and vote for Trump, or maybe just not vote at all. I'm all right with that as well. But they're not going to convict Trump. If they wanted to, they would have done it a long time ago. Trump is part of their gang. They've all were friends with Trump before he became president. It's just like the cat with the FTX. What's his name? Bankman. I forget his whole name. Sam Bankman or whatever. He was caught in the Bahamas earlier this week. Now he ran off with $10 billion of investors' money here and overseas. And so when they wrestled him up in the Bahamas, and I believe it was the Bahamas, Maxine Waters was like, oh, I can't believe they caught him. It's like, well, weren't y'all looking for him? It kind of like they knew where he was, but it's like, why weren't y'all actively going after this dude? He ruined a lot of people's lives financially, right? And so he is also should be said that he gave a lot of money to the Republicans and the Democrats. So he screwed over a lot of people, a lot of the little people, but they weren't interested in finding them. Just the same thing with Trump. They're all part of the same class. And per that of the Communist Manifesto, it says that we in society, we have it confused, and we're confused by design. It's because they, being the ones that owns the means of production, the bourgeoisie, the capitalists, if you will, because that's at the helm of everything, right? The capitalists make us think, oh, it's about politics, oh, it's about race, oh, it's about gender, oh, it's about this. While they're all doing the money grab, we're on the bottom level, if you will. But we being the working class of proletariat, we're on the bottom arguing over everything while they're getting all this money. So we're distracted. That's kind of part of what the Communist Manifesto was saying. We're distracted. We're not seeing what's really going on. So they're not going to get Trump.
Right. And then by the after the Civil War, there is a actual act and a law that prohibits anybody that takes part in insurrection and things against the United States from ever holding office again. That is still on the books right now. Nancy Pelosi could have brought that to the floor the very next 30 days or whatever after they investigated and charged him with that without fail. You don't even need a court to do it. She could have just said, we charge by vote in Congress that you have engaged in this, and because of that, you can no longer hold any kind of office in the United States because you engaged in insurrection. And you know he engaged in insurrection because they've already convicted lower level people. So that goes to show you they all run in the same circles.
Yes, indeed. And Gilberto, you said something about Tory offering $1 million. And so that's the allegation that Tory offered. I heard the best friend Kelsey $1 million, although that hasn't been proven anywhere. She said that she did not take the money. It's also said that he called Megan's bodyguard and apologized or text him, but he didn't say what he was apologizing for. So that was kind of ambiguous. So there's a lot going on. And Jay says, everyone's getting anti-bill, but no anti-Black bill. The sad part is the rest of the Black world globally needs Black Americans to succeed and take control because we look up to y'all. Y'all know I ain't lying. No, I know. I totally agree. Absolutely. So yeah, we do need some sort of a bill that protects us from a whole lot of things. The problem is we won't get it until we get on the same page politically, and we just unify it all together. Because you think about the other groups, whether it's LGBTQ, they're unified. It's Asians, they're unified. Jewish people, they're unified. Hispanics, they're unified. Only group of people that are not unified is us. And so we don't even agree on the time of day most of the time. And they know that, they being them, the powers that be, if you will, they know we don't agree. And so until we get on the same page, and again, all this is by design to keep us off the same page, we're not going to get anything. We're not. I mean, how do you know, time and time again, you save, let's say the Democrats, you save them, and then they go to Washington and say, okay, we're going to do for more people. Ralph Warnock, y'all saw that race play out in Georgia. Black people showed up even during the second, during the runoff, if you will. And then they go and try to put together a task force to help people who are already protected. So, yeah. Let's see here. LSC said, call the po-po nah, sis. We bust back. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, if I was her, I'm not protecting somebody who shot me. You know what I mean? And Jay says, 51 where? Demetra, stop it, girl. You out here looking like 28. Oh, you know what? Thank you. Y'all see this gray hair? Y'all see all that gray hair? It ain't dust. It's gray hair. My daughter's like, you don't dye it because it's just gonna come back. She hating. But thank you. And Gavetta says, Demetra, laugh out loud, right? We all just speculating her based off of what we're hearing. We definitely were not there and we'll never know the truth. I mean, we won't, right? They don't even know the truth at this. Somebody does, but they ain't willing to share it, right? And Kubler, how are you doing? He says Megan got shot in the foot and still had enough left over to dance on. Yeah, I've seen that argument as well, so yes, please, if y'all could like, share, and subscribe and all that, I appreciate it. Thank you, Gilberto, for the reminder. And somebody says amen, and Kubler says, while Kylie Jenner testifies in this trial, I will. It sounds like she's not after all, because her and Corey Gamble, which is Kris Jenner's boyfriend or husband, they're calling him, they were there at the party that Kylie threw, so it sounds like they don't have to testify after all. That's what I heard. So how true it is, I don't know.
Why is it that these older people are partying with their damn kids? Where do they do that at? It's just crazy.
Well, it sounds like too, and hi, Arneva, how you doing? It sounds like Corey is kind of their handler, sort of, kind of, so I don't know. And Nina, he says, Tory will talk because he is an independent artist, so he have no one to protect him like these corporate giants. That is true. It doesn't even sound like they don't know if he's going to testify or not. Sounds like experts are saying that he probably should, especially since the best friend, they played some of the allegations from September that she made, that he might need to testify in his defense. So it's going to be real tricky for him. True, Margaret, you say people forget that Asia, which just means East, used to be heavily melanated and has gotten watered down over time. That is absolutely true. And let's see here. True Margaret says also time for old Anglos to be out of government, period. And some old Negroes too. Kiki, how you doing? Says, hi, hey everyone. Not very knowledgeable of the Megan situation. I'm not a fan. I did hear she was involved in the situation, but not sure of the specifics. Yeah, it's a lot going on. I'm telling you, it's like a whodunit. I follow court cases from time to time. The last one I followed fully was that of the George Floyd, or actually Derek Chauvin. It was a Derek Chauvin trial, and where you guys also know, murdered George Floyd. I follow that every day. So I'm not watching this because it doesn't sound like it's televised, but I am getting the feedback from the people who are in the case. So Gavetta says, Demetra, and he will probably only get a 5 years. The investor, yeah, for doing that. There's people who died and probably took their lives and all of that. Just a lot of people's life savings just gone, right? And LB, how are you doing?
He probably get 5 years probation with that kind of money that he's probably stocked away. They're not going to lock that man up with that kind of money. They're going to give him 5 years probation, not going to give him any prison time.
Albie, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the reminder. And Kubler says, serious, why are people demanding 80-year-old men, Biden and Trump, to still work? Everyone, please leave Papa alone. Okay. And Albie says, finally, truth spoken. And let's see here. Marcus says, I really don't think these entertainers realize how bad this looks on us as Black people, with all the things that we could be battling and fighting for, keeping up with the Dynasty episodes about bullshit. Well, me and Donovan had this conversation too before we came on here, and he says all the things that's going on in the world. And I said, you know what? Yeah, there's all these things going on. He said all the homelessness is going on. I'm like, well, don't wait till we get on the show to try to make an issue of it. Oh, well, why are we talking? Not saying Donovan, I'm saying making an issue of why are we talking about this, about all this other stuff? Because my thing is, I call bullshit on that. Because if you're really concerned about the stuff that's going on with Black people, go out there and help Black people. Don't wait till Sunday at 5 p.m. to say, oh, well, what about all the other stuff? I don't give a shit about Megan Thee Stallion either. Not that I'm saying I give a shit about her as a person. I don't give a shit about the stuff they're going through, because they're going to be all right. Like, they're millionaires. They're going to be all right. But I wanted to talk about, does she indeed still deserve as they're calling it, the misogynoir that's going on, even though she is a victim? And so just know that I'm pretty good at it. I would say multitasking. We can care about Black people and the serious stuff that's going on with Black people and some other stuff that may not be serious as Black people. But I would say this too, Marcus. Megan does not affect me as a Black woman, okay? Her image does not do anything to my image. And I'm going to tell you why. Case in point, because I always see and hear people say, oh, that's why white people don't like us. That's why white people don't respect us. Do you think they respected us when they brought us over here on the Middle Passage? Do you think there was a lot of respect for Black people then, when they had us bending over 6 days a week, sun up, sundown, picking cotton, barely eating, doing horrible things to our women and men, selling our children? Do y'all think they had respect for us then? How about during Jim Crow or any of the other stuff? Even today in 2022, we can't even get a bill to protect us. And then we talking about, how white people feel about us or how they think about us. They never gonna look on Black people favorably. You know partially why? It's because we don't look upon us favorably. That's why. I don't care what white people think about me, and neither should y'all. But we should care about what we think about each other, because that's what matters. Because if we really, as the minister says all the time, Elijah Muhammad has said it, Marcus Garvey has said it, is if we loved each other as Black people, we wouldn't have these issues. We wouldn't have these issues at all. But as Brother Jonell talks about when he comes on here, he says, you protect what you love. We don't love each other enough to protect us physically, financially, mentally, spiritually, or any other way. So again, we could talk about other stuff. Just because we talk about other stuff don't mean we don't care about Black people. I hope I'm making some sense. Anyway, all right, let's see here. True Margaret says they were all on Epstein Island. Ooh. And then Gilbert says Demetra case, she took that money, laugh out loud. How them attorneys being paid? Yeah, I would be interested in where the money came from if she took the money, because $1 million is not easy to disguise, right? Like, I'm gonna give you $5 a day, then $10 and I like, that's a lot of money, right? Like, it would have to be declared somewhere, I would think. And let's see here. And Kubler, you say Nancy knew better than to ban Trump for running again. Them January 6 folks would have come back to the Capitol like they forgot their keys. Yeah, and Margaret Taylor Greene already said that if she was running and organizing it, it would have been way more gangster than it was. And so who's to say that they're not already still talking about that?
Yeah, and they wouldn't even need to go to the Capitol. They would just go straight to her house like they already did. Send a message.
Yep. And Michael said, Demetra, what is your interaction with Blasians? So Black Asians, I guess that's where you're trying to go with it. Black and Asian. I interact with Asians. I don't per se have an issue with Asians. I do have an issue with some of the things that Asians do to Black people. But I've always said this about Asians, and I say this about everybody else. I'm not mad at Asians. I learn a lot from Asians. I tell you guys about the book Hidden Secrets of Oriental Wealth all the time. It's on YouTube. I tell you guys to go watch it all the time. I say I'm not mad at the Asians because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They have organized. They are unified. They don't need the government or anybody to do nothing for them. They got their stuff together. And so the book, the Hidden Secrets of Oriental Wealth, he talks about that. He specifically talks to Black people. He says, basically, Black people, listen up. This is what we're doing, and this is how we do it. You guys can do it too. He says, we're not special, but we do have unity. Now, let's be fair. We know that when we brought over here during the Middle Passage, that unity was something that we could not do. And even to this day, it's been a concerted effort to keep Black people disunified. So the Asians have that going for them. But we now know what the issue is. What is our problem? Why can't we unify? So I don't have a problem with Asians per se. I get why they're getting legislation is because they're unified and they know how to shut this mug down if they don't get what they need. So I'm not mad at Asians. I wish we would have the same tenacity when it comes to helping our people. So let's see here. And Kugler says, I identified as a veteran. Says the only group beloved by everyone. Okay. And let's see here. Michael says, Raphael Warnock is a part of the moderate Democrats who is ready to sell Black people down the river. You ain't lying about that. And Marty says, women talk too much and man, they have no respect for one another. Need God in your life instead of the gossip. Yeah, I agree with you on that. No argument. And Kugler says, Demetra and Donovan, will y'all bless up with Christmas photos? I don't celebrate Christmas, although I am going home, California, Southern California. I'm going home to.
We don't want you. Bring your visa, because we got to stamp your visa once you leave here.
That's all right. So I'm going home for the holidays and just say hello to my family for a couple of days, and I'll be back. But I mean, if I take pictures on Christmas, yeah, sure, I probably upload some. But as far as Christmas, I don't really partake, shopping and all that kind of stuff. My daughter will be 30 the day after Christmas, and so she has really taken my bank account to task. I will say that. And Kiki says, "Oh wow, she was actually shot." That's what they're saying. Yes. And let's see here. And Kubler, thank you so much. He says, Donovan, Merry Christmas. Yes, indeed. Donovan, you celebrate Christmas, don't you? No, not really. And Robin, you're laughing. And let's see here. And
well, you know what? I lied. I don't celebrate Christmas, but I still do for the children that do celebrate Christmas. I don't personally do it.
Yes. And thank you so much again, Kubler. I really love and appreciate you for that. I don't celebrate Christmas because I don't get into the commercial aspect of it. It is a man-made holiday where, they tell you to get out there and spend all this money. And people do. I don't feel compelled to do that. I give people stuff year-round type of stuff. So I don't know. But thank you, though. And let's see here. Where did I leave off? And Jay says, while all this is going on, there's something else in the background, all distractions. I totally agree with you. Totally. And hello, Anita. How are you? And I'm reading Michael's comment, but he's talking to you, Donovan. And Trumonger says, got Demetra cussing. I know, right? I that's part of my New Year's resolution. My daughter says, stop lying. Yeah, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I don't cuss a lot on here, but off of here, oh, my mouth is bad. I ain't gonna lie, it's bad. I told my daughter, I said, for the New Year's, I'm a really try to not cuss. And she says, you've been saying that for the last 5 years, so I'm gonna try. So yeah, Marcus says, I know already. I know you already know this, but I just want to say that wasn't a knock on the no, I don't think that it was a knock on the conversation. That was a knock on the celebrities who keep entertaining the world with BS instead of real shit that matters. No, I totally agree, but you know that I think they get all that money for that purpose, to keep us distracted. I think that's really the purpose. I mean, like I said, they'll be all right. Will Tory go to jail? Probably not. Is Megan going to be okay? Yeah, I'm sure she'll be okay. You know, they don't have the problems that we have, you know. And VFR3 says, do we hold up black liars?
Absolutely. Little Kim went to jail. What was that back in the 90s? Don't snitch. That's really prevalent in the in our community. We don't like snitches. And the sad thing about the thing snitch is everybody's got it jacked up. Snitching is when me and Demetra do a crime and I tell on Demetra. But if Demetra witnessed me and somebody else doing a crime, she's just being a good citizen trying to keep her community clean. You know what I mean?
Right. So VFR3, you say, do we hold up black liars? Well, it's not for me to hold up anybody. I can only be accountable for myself. I don't have a dog in the fight per se. I mean, I really don't. Not a Megan fan. I'm not a Tory fan. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't. So I don't think it's an issue of we holding them up. But I will say this: there sure is a lot of other people we do hold up, right? So whether you want to hold, and I'm assuming you're talking about Megan, if you want to hold her up, that's kind of a personal thing. There's a lot of people online talking about staying with Megan. If that's something you want to do, great. If you don't, that's great too. Like I said, I'm neither here or there with it, but I think it is clear that she got caught lying. Arniva, you says, I think they will throw that guy under the jail as they did Bernie Madoff because too many wealthy people lost money. Yeah, and that's the other thing. There was a lot of wealthy people who lost money. Of course, Bernie Madoff, he was accused of the Ponzi scheme and found guilty of it, sentenced to over 200 years in jail. He died. He was already old, but yeah, he caused a lot of destruction with what he did. And Trumonger says, I don't give a damn about what they think. Rob T says, I have to disagree. It's epigenic trauma, and explain if you don't mind me asking. And Jay says, just prepare for next year, y'all. Some BS coming down the pipeline, and you know we always the scapegoat. The place is to go from the U.S. to the USLWA. And what is that, if you don't mind me asking? Rob says, we don't hate each other on our own or have self-hate on our own. Okay, got it. It's epigenic trauma. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree, but it's like at some point in time, we have to get, like, we know that, right? We know that it's brought on. It was something that was forced upon. We know that. So, like, when do we decide to heal? You know what I mean? When do we decide to say, okay, we know that this was something that was exacted upon us, and now let's act differently? You know what I mean? Like,
I will heal when I get my check. Trust me.
No, you won't. You won't heal when you get your check. And I'm saying you and you as us, because we just won't. Money is not going to heal us. Will it make us feel better? Yeah, but then we'll go back and repeat the same things. We'll just have money to do more of what we're doing. Dr. Joy DeGruy has a book, Post-Traumatic Slave Disorder, where she talks about how all of the things that have happened to our ancestors have just continued to carry on to us. And we are not a well people. And until we heal, we are not going to be better. We'll just continue to repeat the pattern. So money is going to make us feel better, but I think it's going to be a temporary fix. We need the money now. I'm not saying we don't, but we also need to heal. So yes, indeed. And let's see here. And Trumonger, you say residual Stockholm syndrome. Yep, exactly. LS says, we could love each other either to death. We still have enemies. Ask Ye, Kanye, who they are, but we would have less enemies if we were organized and unified. We would have less enemies. They'd be like, because we know that Black people are the largest consumer here in America for the most part. I know Asians are close. but we give most of our money away. Asians don't do that. Um, they would say, like Nike, black people, they spend a lot of money and they buy a lot of Nike. And we know if we do one of their people wrong, they gonna shut us down. Nike is like, yeah, we gonna do what we're doing to Kyrie, and black people still gonna line up to buy our product. Like they're confident in that. So yeah. And Mo Wu Bay, how are you doing? And Michael, you say, I understand your brothers are jealous of brothers rising economically. When a brother brags about his success and tell other brothers, you guys did not work hard, making excuses. Mikey says, I mean, I mix Asians, Asians and black. I don't have a problem with Asian and black people, mixed people. I don't have a problem with mixed people. Like, what can they do about being mixed? You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with mixed people. And let's see here. Nita, you said greetings back onto you. And Trumarker says, what about melanated Asians? Yeah, I mean, depending on who you believe, Asians are black, right? Originally. So Michael says, Demetra, what is your assessment of me trying to solve the crisis in the black communities? Feedback and suggestions about my black agenda. I mean, I appreciate your black agenda. I think all input helps. But the thing is, Michael, and I'm sure you already know that there's been black agendas from since forever. Marcus Garvey. And of course, there is a black agenda in here. You know, message the black man in America since the 60s. This is a black agenda. Of course, as I said, Marcus Garvey, it's a black agenda. So we don't have a shortage of black agendas. We have a shortage of people actually wanting to follow a black agenda. That's where the issue is. All right. And so let's see. True Margaret says all of the countries in Asia don't have the same culture. What are you really asking about? And Michael, okay, so you're talking to Michael. Okay, so I'll let y'all talk about that. Arneva says, really, I never heard you cuss, Demetra. Oh, y'all know I don't like to lie. My mouth is bad. It's not like I'm one of those type of people who cuss. I cuss. It's not like all day, you know, just like, it's like situational cussing, if that makes any sense. I'm not saying I'm proud of it. Like, I'm not at the grocery store cussing in public. I don't do that. I try not to do it on here because I don't want y'all to see me in that light. But people who know me personally know I could cuss with the best of them. But I'm working on it. I'll probably be working on it until I die, to be honest with you. Because it feels good sometimes. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not ladylike. So I'll try not to do it, you know, too much in public. Marcus says, my last appointment, then I think it's dangerous when we separate ourselves as a race globally because everybody outside of us is united and working against us globally. Yeah, but when are we going to, we know that, Marcus, but we need to educate ourselves and know that. We know that it is a work, an effort against us, but it's like we work against us too. You know what I mean? And Percy, how are you doing? It says Megan Lyon has consistently lied. She is a scorned woman. Yeah, she may have some underlying issue. I don't know Megan, but yes, she definitely has been caught up in some lies. So I'm not saying that she hasn't. You know, Kiki says I love the energy of the Christmas season, especially the music. I don't like the commercialization of it. I don't like the commercialization of any of these holidays. You should love and give all year round if it's authentic. I totally agree. Now I do like the Christmas music. Now I like Christmas music. But yeah, and I like the I guess, you know, the warmness around the holidays. That's nice because people tend to be a little bit nicer. But then when January 1st comes, it's like, what happened? So yeah, it should be all the way around. And Robin says you love the background. Thank you so much again. That is Via Lararo, Madam CJ Walker's house back in the 1920s, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 1920 or so. And those were some of the people that worked for her there at her house. And Rob T says, cut the check. And True Margaret says, gotta face the trauma. Yes, we have to. I mean, we just have to. We're not going to heal, then we're going to continue to repeat it. And True Margaret says, society is at least in stage 3. Do tell. And Kubler says, speaking of BS, have you guys heard that Disney World is now building living quarters for its park employees due to high cost of living in Orlando? That's sad because who wants to live at work? You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. Wouldn't it be easier and cheaper and less liability by just raising their pay so that they can live where they want to live?
Right. I would think it would be cheaper. You building it's quarters, or is it almost like, well, you're here. We need you to come in for overtime. You ain't got no excuses. Like, now I don't want to live at work now. I want to
It's
see
like,
Mickey Mouse.
yeah, that would be like being in the military where you're at the barracks and they call you in and you have no choice. And you're just kind of like, you're
No,
there.
no, don't want to. Rob says, unfortunately, we all connected from a metaphysic standpoint, and our enemies know this. Like dominoes, one of us falls inside. We all do. Hence the epigenetic trauma. So no, I mean, I totally agree with you. And tell it like it is. It says the money would help those of us who want to separate from the oppressive system and start anew. And that's partially why they won't give it to us. They don't want to. They know a lot of us will be like, I'm out, right? So there goes their working class, which is why, I was talking to my nephew about this whole FTX thing. Me personally, I think it's all done by design. Let's shake all these people loose who made some money over the pandemic, with the cryptocurrency. That market is terrible. And, let's get them back in at Taco Bell. Let's get them back in the service industry. And I know a lot of people who were not working, they've had to go back to driving Uber and DoorDash and those type of things because they lost a lot of money in that. So, Jay says, Demetra K, USLWA is United States of Latin. They're whiter ones and white America. Okay, got you. Says they are pushing blacks in the minority. Okay. And True Margaret says, Phil Knight will never see another dime from me. Me either. He is obviously the owner, I guess, the CEO of Nike. But yeah, he's confident that he ain't gonna miss no money from black people. He know that. Now, he wouldn't dare do it to the Jewish community, Asian community, even Hispanics. They wouldn't do that to them. But to us, they like, let's drop a Jordan for them. And they're gonna be lying all around the block for a week. So they're confident that we won't. And Kubler says that China brand of working is coming to America. And Robin says, why is he so concerned? Always want to know how blacks feel. And so who is this? And Anita says, I cuss a lot, Demetra. Yeah, he says, you're not alone. Yeah, I mean, I do. And sometimes it feels good. And yes, Sunlight, she's heard me. She's heard me before. I said, I don't talk like that on the air, but I do talk like it behind there. I'm not ashamed to say that I do, but it's not really ladylike to do it. And as my mom would say, mixed company. And Donovan says, I like the season. I live in the desert and the cold weather is a relief and the best time of the year besides spring. Yeah, here in Houston, it's going to be a freeze. It's going to be 17 degrees on Christmas morning. But guess what? I ain't going to be here to feel it. And let's see. Yeah, Michael, how are you doing? You said exactly, BS. And just skip it down. I see y'all replying to each other. Okay, that's cool. And Kubler says, introducing every black person to Julius Malema is my proposed solution for black unity. Yeah, Julius Malema of the EFF. I always say he's my intellectual crush. I would like to see them, do a little bit. I mean, I guess they're trying all that they can. People just don't want to let go of the ANC.
Colonialism.
They don't want to let go. It's like over here, the ANC is like the Democrats. To them,
the older black people, right? The older black people are holding on.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I like it.
And by the way, Demetra got banned from the EFF building while we were in South Africa. She was banned totally.
Nah, they weren't even there. Was it Zuma passed away?
No, what's his name? It was in Zimbabwe. Mugabe.
Yeah. Okay, so then they weren't there when we were there. Let's see here. And Marcus says, I think Disney is thinking it's better to keep the slides on the plantation. I think he meant slaves on the plantation. It's kind of hard to lie about your reason for not coming in or calling in at that point. I totally agree with you. And let's see here. Kiki says, Donovan Sadiq, yes, spring is my favorite time of year too. I'm spring born, so it's inevitable. Now that I've gotten older, I like winter because I like to dress up, your boots and your jeans and your coats and your sweaters.
Yeah, so, and you ladies are putting your clothes on. We don't have to see everything, especially these younger girls. That's why I like winter. They put their clothes on and you could use your imagination and say, wow, that girl's got style or whatever. You ain't got to see everything right off the bat.
Yes, indeed. Tell it like it is. Says, well, they don't want us here anyway, so give us our money and let's go. I agree with you, but we know that they do, but they don't. Double A, how you doing? It says we always want the spotlight over other people that look like us, and we can't never agree to disagree. Yep, and that's part of the problem. You are totally right. Uh Kiki says, is it true that people are pushing back against the California reparation situation? Oh yes, there's a lot of
Yes, the
people who are.
Hispanic community is really a big, big issue. And these are the Hispanics who claim to be native to the land and stuff. But what they don't realize is you can't claim to be native to the land here in California. And yet there's already been legislation and things passed in California for native people, as in your Indian casinos and your different types of programs that they have for them. But what it is they don't want the Black people to get that money. That's what it is.
Yeah, there's it's quite a bit of pushback from a lot of people, not just Hispanics, but I mean some Black people who are not considered ADOS, if you will. So, yeah, it's owed to us. California is taking the lead on that, and so of course you're gonna have people that are mad, but so what? You know what I mean? They'll get over it. Uh, and let's see here. Somebody, oh, Michael, he says, Demetra, have you got into an altercation with an Asian American woman? Have I ever?
Yeah, remember in that senior year, and what's her name, Ming Lee, came at you because you
You
wouldn't let her in
lying?
the into the Black group.
No.
No,
Down the line. Phew. I can't recall if I've ever gotten into an altercation with an Asian. I can't say that I have, but Hispanic, yes. Hispanic women, yes. Quick story. One day, I needed to get a key made. So I was at this place to get a key made. And the lady, the cashier was like, okay, well, just hold on, I'm gonna get your key made. Just wait a second. And so there was a Hispanic lady and her daughter. They were next to me, and she kept like bumping into me. And I said, "Ma'am, I'm standing right here." And so she got an attitude. And mind you, my head was just throbbing. It was just a day, right? My head's throbbing. So finally, me and my daughter, we walked over to the counter, waiting for the lady to come make our key. The lady's daughter, as they were walking out, says, "Next time, bitch, show some respect." That's what she said to me. And I said, "You talking to me?" She said, "Yeah, I'm talking to you." Mind you, my daughter's like 7 years old, and she was, by the gumball machine. And like I said, I had a headache. So I went over to the lady. I said, "Call me a bitch," in my face. She's scared at this point because I don't know. She thought I was a pool butt. She thought I wasn't about that life. I don't know what she was thinking. She wouldn't say it. So she walked outside. I walked outside after her. I said, "Call me a bitch again." And she's freaked out. And so her mama at this point, the lady kept bumping into me. Oh my God. She, come on, telling her daughter to come on. I'm like, "Call me a bitch again." She wouldn't do it. So she had glasses on her face. I took my hand and I pushed her glasses on her face. I said, "Call me a bitch." She wouldn't do it. I said, "Next time you better be careful who you calling, that." I said, and then I turned around and I got a glimpse of my daughter at the side of my eye, and it just kind of snapped me back. And I was like, "Oh, okay. I don't want my daughter to see me act like this, right?" But mind you, I was like 28 years old, still old enough not to be acting like that. But the point that I'm making is, first of all, you're not going to disrespect me in front of my daughter. And I want you to know the next time you call somebody a bitch, you better be about that life. So needless to say, after I pushed her glasses on her face, she said she was sorry and they left. And I went in there and got my key made, and all was well. So anyway, that was my story about that. But not any Asians that I can think of. Hello, Bakari. How you doing? And let's see here. Rex, how are you doing? He says, "I just popped in to show you two. Love to you too. I have absolutely no clue what the topic is and don't care enough to investigate. I'm with you at this point. We're just talking. So if y'all want to, throw something in the chat, we'll be more than happy to talk to you." And True Market says the Uncle Ruckus generation is still a problem. Yeah, it won't be in a couple of years though. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And let me see. And Bakari says Rome is burning and America will go through some more major changes in 2023. Oh, yeah, big time. And let's see here. I'm just kind of skipping down a little bit because I was talking for a while. And Tell It Like It Is says so much for that black and brown alliance, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to be nice, but sometimes you just can't be letting people talk to you in your kind of way. True Market says the land of the colonizer America belongs to melanated people. Anyway, true. Rob T says there was never.
Real quick, Demetra, you did a story on the African Diaspora Channel in regards to the LA City Council thing. And in the video, you showed the guy that was like, oh, we have a process, whatever the deal is. What I found was funny was the reporter should have asked him, so do you support Mr. De Leon being discriminatory against black people? Because his whole attitude was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I support him no matter what. And I was just like, how ignorant.
But it's ignorant, but it's not. And this is what I think we really need to get the guy, the supporter, because he was there too, chanting all lives matter and Viva La Raza and brown lives matter. He was there too. It's not really ignorance. It is, but I guess the point that I'm making is they get it. That's our dude. Kevin De Leon belongs to us. We are going to support him because even though we know they were trying to do a power grab from black people, trying to redistrict so that they can have more of a Hispanic alliance, if you will, even though they were trying to harm black people in the process, they are still on the same page. We are not on the same page. And the one thing I can say, Kevin De Leon is a douchebag, okay? He is. However, his people can stand behind him because he was trying to do something for his people. Our elected leaders don't do that. Our elected leaders go in there and they do for everybody else but black people. So it's kind of hard for us to stand behind them, right? But as horrible as Kevin De Leon is, he was going to do get power for his people. So yeah, his people are standing up for him. So as I watch that, I'm not mad at it because I get it. Like, duh, he's trying to help us. But that's what our people should be doing, right? And LS, she says, tell the brownies to stick a sock in it. They sold Cali. Well, they'll say, well, it was stolen from us, right? It all depends on who you believe. Rob, she says, look at the city council of the LA situation that's been going on. Yeah, it's a mess. But Kevin De Leon, he's not going to resign. And a recall is too expensive. They can't fire him unless he was doing some criminal activity.
Right. And you think about it, a recall, the only people that could recall him are the people in his district. He was supported 70-something% by, like you said, the people in his district. He's not going anywhere.
He's doing stuff for him. You know what I mean? He's doing for his people. He ain't up in there doing for everybody else. He's doing for his people. So, of course, they're going to support him, which is why he's like, I ain't going no damn where, Marcus says, I also want to propose a hot topic. Do Barack Obama benefit us in any kind of way? And do you agree that he plays heavily on us because he knows we are loyal regardless of what he does? And let's see a comment. Let's cut off and try to find it. No, I don't think Barack benefits us in any kind of way. He's been very clear about that my hands were tied. I didn't want to make, the other people mad, other people, white people. He was beholden to that of everybody else but black people. And he said it is not my words, it's his. So he does not benefit us. Barack Obama has become the one of the ultimate symbols or signs of symbolism. He's just symbolic in that we got a black president, the black president that's done anything for us. But let me ask y'all a question. What do y'all think is going to happen if Mexicans get a president in the White House? What happens if an Asian gets in the White House? You think they're going to do what Barack Obama did to his people? Hell to the no. They're going to get in there. It's going to be Hispanic year or whatever, or that the year of the dragon. And I'm not trying to be racially insensitive, so don't take it that way, but I'm just saying whatever it is Asians or Hispanics or anybody else need, they will get
specific tax breaks for a certain group of people. They're going to do all of that. Dreamers passed, act will be passed, all of that will be pushed.
Yeah. So Jason, how are you doing? It says that's the South Central LA coming out of Demetra. I have cousins in South Central, so I spent some time in South Central. I am from Southern California though. So yeah, my mom would always tell me, you a lot like your dad. You got a temper like your dad. And I'm like, me and my daddy don't like to be disrespected. That's what it is. My dad is, he's had some it be living in LA, you know, because my dad lived in LA, so I spent a lot of time in LA visiting over the summer and stuff with my siblings. My dad could tell you about a lot of run-ins that he had with, you know, Mexican people just doing the most, and they didn't come out favorably on in a lot of those situations either, you know. So yeah. Let's see here. Robin said that's right, and Robin says, remember, Latin comes from Italy, Latium, a culture that Greeks and Romans started. How much white can you get? Yep. And Bakari says, I'm here in Inglewood, California. Mexicans be tripping. They hate us and want to be us. Some, not all, got love for us. I totally agree because I got Mexican friends. I mean, I consider them my homies. So you're right. But there are some that's like, they don't like us, but it's like they're like everybody else. They don't like us, but they want to be like us, right? They like our music and you know our culture and things like that. But you know they don't really want to be us per se. Kiki says, "Did y'all see the situation with the black lady and Prince Charles?" Yes. And someone posted on Facebook. Did y'all see it? What was that about? I actually did a small video on it yesterday. I just think it was about a black woman who was enamored by a white man who was the king, and it was odd to see because you hear about it, but the lady, she was crawling on her knees and she was squealing and just like elated that she was next to such whiteness. I guess I don't know. Sounds like the lady was from. She wasn't from here, Africa, Jamaica. I don't know where she was from, but she was not from here. But I think it was just about no knowledge of self and not really knowing the history of the royal family. Because if she truly did, maybe she does and just don't care. She truly knew the history of them. I doubt very seriously she would got on her knees and crawled over there to him.
Well, I really don't think it's that. It's these are the people that have been colonized, and they're used to being colonized like that. It's the same thing that goes on in South Africa and a lot of these African countries. Then they come over here and they're quick to side with the colonizer or the man and sell us out and talk about we need to get along, and they want to down talk us, but they're the ones that don't want to deal with the fact that they have a colonizer's mindset. Here it is almost 50 years after apartheid, and I'm going to use South Africa specifically, and yet Black people are in a worse position than ever before. 7% of the white people still control almost 80% of all the land and money and everything in South Africa. So, I mean, so explain that. They're comfortable with colonialization.
Yes, indeed. And so you say wait until, what flag is that?
That's Russia and China.
I knew that was the China one, but I didn't know what the Russian was. Launch their sleeper cells here. Okay, got you. Let's see here. Frankie says, how you doing, by the way? He says, we have to do something for our people ourselves. Yeah, we're going to have to. We just have to. And Robbie said, good point. Obama does play on us. Yep. Frank says, we vote people like Karen Bass in. We don't want anything for our people. Yeah, and Karen, she's now talking about the homeless situation. She's trying to do some things, but it's like, you really want to get rid of the homeless situation because it looks bad. And a lot of Angelinos, if you will, people in Los Angeles, especially people with money, because that's really who can live there now. They don't want to see the homeless people as they're walking to, have a martini or anywhere else. And so they're trying to make us think that clean up the homeless situation is about humanity, but it's really about capitalism. So.
Right. And the funny thing is, when she was running, she did not mention anything about homeless people. It was the other guy that she was running against that said he was going to do this and do that. I mean, that was a major thing on his platform. I mean, come on, this is the same Karen Bass that said with the Congressional Black Talkers that said, oh, we're going to get you guys qualified immunity. Don't worry about it. If you turn Georgia blue, we're going to get you qualified immunity. And then when it didn't come through, she was the lead person on it. We tried, and then she just walked away. She became mayor of Los Angeles without promising Black people not one damn thing. Ralph Warnock just became a 6-year senator without promising Black people one damn thing. Whose fault is that? It's not their fault. It's our fault.
Joseph, how are you doing? He says all these distractions, and nobody's talking about the borders being opened up Wednesday. Well, I mean, we talk about it, but let me ask you, what can we as Black people do about it? What are we willing to do about it? The people who are opening up the borders, we voting them in. So we could talk about it, but until we stop, we start being a little bit more politically responsible, what can we do about it? You know, they gonna come over here whether we want to or not, and we know they're coming over here to replace us, but we won't stop it. We won't. We vote for symbolism. We allow them to tell us, oh, you got to get out there and vote for this person, vote for that person.
Save democracy.
Yeah, and we don't have anything to show for it. So yeah, I agree, it's a distraction, but what are we gonna do about it? We're not willing to do anything about it. So, but welcome anyway. Gavetta says again, thanks for joining the Demetra K Show. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe to this channel. Yes, and please, thank you so much, Gavetta. And Jay says she's not from Jamaica. Oh, hell no. I don't know. I know she ain't from America. Talking about the lady that was on her knees. So I don't know where she's from, but it's like, ugh. Yes, Robin says she's a disgrace, getting down on her knees, crawling to Charles like that. Shameful. I was like, is this a joke? Is it somebody playing?
And isn't the royal family, at least his generation, famous for not wanting to shake Black people's hands, especially his queen consort? She shook somebody's hand and she was just like all wigged out about it.
Absolutely. And yeah, it was very disgusting. And Kiki says, it was very odd. I never seen that in my life. Shaking my head. Wow. I was like, what is going on here? A lot of raccooning going on. Kugler says, I wish a person wanted me so bad they crawl whenever I enter a room. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now that would be dope. But it probably get on your nerves after a while. Like, all right. Latanya, how are you doing? He said, yes, she does. And Rob says, China will own a lot of Africa in the future too. Oh, yeah, it's going on as we speak. Unfortunately, as well, a book called Africa, China, Second Home. Yeah, I mean, don't they have the ANC, the parliament in Africa? Don't they got a Chinese woman, I think it is, sitting on the parliament? Yeah, so do they have that in China though? And then Sean, if I didn't already, how you doing? Says she's from South Africa. Okay, so she's from South Africa. And Michael says, Demetra, why not have your relatives visit you in Houston, Texas? Why go back home to racist California? My family actually visits me all the time during, spring break, summer and stuff like that. They're usually always here. I like to go home to California just to kind of put my feet on the ground. My father's there as well, but he ain't there now. My sister kidnapped him and took him to Jacksonville. So that's where he is right now. But I'll go back sometime in the next month or two to go visit him, or maybe have him come out here. But yeah, California is home. And True Margaret says, I saw a photo of Karen Bass smiling with Kamala. That showed me all I needed to see. Yes, she actually, I guess, swore in. Let's see. Michael, you also say, Donovan and Demetra, you need to run for president 2024 to destroy status quo. It's cute in theory. And Joanna, how you doing? Says the Black Panthers and the Young Lords would disagree. Now, disagree with what? I'm sorry. I don't understand what that is in regards to. I'm sure it was something I said. And Rob says, by the way, all these anti-bills for specific groups and not us goes against the Constitution. And I believe the 14th Amendment, especially when there's data that shows we have more hate crimes. Oh, yeah, for sure. Bar none, Black people there's more crimes, hate crimes against Black people than anybody probably combined. But we don't have the power. We get the power by practicing unity. That's how we get the power, right? And let's see here. Just skip down just a little bit. Moni says, now we know who has been lying and who has been telling the truth. With what? And Joanna says, working people should be standing together for real power change. I agree. I agree that everybody who needs to benefit from something needs to stand together. So I totally agree with you. A lot of things that are going on with the working class in a lot of countries, they could not and would not be able to get away with it. Like they turn up, right? Over here, we just take it, So I agree with you on that. And LS says, Shorty was getting them knees dirty. Laugh out loud. Not for that reason, though. Yeah, I know. He was probably like, he didn't seem like he was totally against it, but he was probably like, let me just act like I'm all right with it. I don't know. It's like, where was our homegirls at? Like, girl, if you don't get off your knees, like, where was those people? Like, I don't know. Let's see here.
And that's why those type of Black people in the diaspora we need to be weary of and keep at a distance, because that's the person most likely that will sell you out.
Yes. And Tashawn, how are you doing? It says Tiffany Cross and Joy Reid said the Democrats don't do enough during their Breakfast Club interview. Wow, I was like,
where have they been for the last 12 years now? 12 cycles, six election cycles. Where have they been?
Tiffany and Joy Reid are two of the most dishonest people. Not the most, but they're among the most dishonest Black pundits, because those two, they root for the Democratic Party and they tell people, Black men, to get in line and shut up and, all this other stuff. And they're just horrible people. It's like, now you want to say they don't do enough. That's what we've been saying. We know that. But they probably clearing a check. I want to say probably clearing a check somewhere from the Democratic Party to continue to sell Black people up the river for more of nothing. And now they want to get up there and talk about they don't do enough. Like, no kidding.
Well, the thing is, after the elections that have just happened, especially with Warnock thing, even though he won the election and stuff, you had two Black men running against each other. The poll shows that even in these most recent midterm elections, Black support in the Democratic Party is still dropping. So what they're trying to do is do the old okey doke and kind of like, okay, we address the problem to get some of those Black people to come back, because even among women, Black women, they found that the support has gone down because the new Black media, Demetra K, Brother Phil Scott, and all these platforms out there, people are starting to wake up and they're saying, yeah, wait a minute, what are we doing here? We're getting nothing. We keep doing this stuff and we're getting nothing. And they're finding that Black support in the Democratic Party is falling.
Yes, indeed. And so, old school, how you doing? It says it's the Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley audience who all voted for Warnock. Yeah, and they were big proponents of it. I didn't love either one of them, Warnock or Walker. Didn't love either one of them, but yeah, it's the Ricky Smileys and your Steve Harveys and the DL Hewleys and the Roland Martins. It's all of those cats that continue to be pawns for the man on the Democratic side, right? They have a huge influence over Black people, and Black people won't question them. And so they tell Black people to go vote for more of nothing. So I totally agree with you. And long time no see, by the way. And Kubler, Donovan, she asked you a question. Can you answer that? Okay, and let's see here. LS, you crazy. And Joanna, you say, sounds like a good start, but we have to change the name to Workers Alliance or something like that, because socialism and communism have been too demonized. Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of people who take issue with socialism and communism. So I agree with you on that. Sunlight says facts. Both these women advocate for the Dems. Yeah, so it's disingenuous for them to now say that. It's like, shut up, ain't nobody listening to you. Ella says Obama was sold out from the beginning. Not surprised at his tokenism. Nope, I totally agree with you. And Joanna says they love the man. He says, sorry, I'm a few minutes behind. Now that's okay. I get it. Eli, how are you doing? It said hello to Sunlight. And Michael said, Donovan and Demetra, I'm not perfect, but I am ambitious like Donald Trump, and America needs a deep revolution to start from scratch. I would agree with you on that. It does need a revolution. And Robin says they're mammy shields for the Democratic Party. Tiffany is just being disgruntled. Yeah, because MSNBC got rid of her, right? And Gilvetta says all of them clearing checks. Tiffany, Joy, Don, Roland, Reverend Al, all of them. Yep, every last one of them. And, we just listen. I'm saying we as Black people, we just continue to go to the slaughter. We allow them to lead us to the slaughter. So it's just where we are, right? And Kiki says, I read that they're trying to get a Republican Black man to run in 2024. I forget his name, Tim Scott. That's who they want to try to put up. Tim Scott, he is from South Carolina. He is a staunch Democrat. I mean, not Democrat, Republican, a staunch Republican. So that's who I've heard that they were floating around. I don't know how successful that would be. LS says here in Georgia, they actually talking about Warnock running for president. Warnock running for president in 2024. You know, it's so odd and scary and creepy. He sounds just like Obama. The stuff he says and how he says it sounds just like Obama. It is so creepy. And so I don't know, like, are they purposely doing that, or does he sound like that on the regular? Like, it's what's going on? But he probably would get in, And Gilbert says, I trusted nothing Reverend Warnock stated. Yeah, I mean, they prove him to be a liar too, but that's who's in there, And tell it like it is, says Sambo Dumise. And what's that? I probably said it wrong. And thank you, Don, for becoming a member. Love and appreciate you for that. And let's see here. Jordan says, my people, do you know who I am? Well, tell us. Says, who are your people? So I think maybe y'all talking, having a conversation with each other. Kiki says, yep, that's him. Yep, Tim Scott. And tell it like it is, says, oh God, please, not Tim. Yeah, I heard his name floating around. And Robert says, it don't matter who runs or who wins. None of them will benefit us. Exactly. I remember seeing a clip from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he said that. He says it doesn't matter whether it's Republican or Democrat. And it's not going to benefit us as Black people. So it's like, we got other fish to fry and then worry about what master to be choosing, right? Who is going to be the better master for Black people, Republican or a Democrat? It's not going to help us. And neither one of them are going to help us. Robert says, not America. It's not a racist country, Tim Scott. I know they lying who's going to vote for him. If a lot of people will vote for Herschel Walker, Tim Scott again. I would say Tim Scott. Yeah, he did say America's not a racist country. Of course, he got to say that because he's got to play to his party. I think it's a little bit more level-headed than that of Herschel Walker, right? He's not a complete puppet, although I think that he is. But I think, because even with the, I think it was the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill, he signed on for that bill. So I don't know. Jay Bubba, how you doing? He says, all of them, Roland is the worst. Yeah, he's just a vile individual, just a cantankerous, vile, evil, just nasty individual. Like, he just mad and hate, but he hates Black people. It's, in my opinion, I think Roland really hates Black people. Well, for one, I don't think you would, if you loved your people, you wouldn't continuously sell them nothing. And then the Black people are trying to say, hey, let's not vote for nothing. Let's actually get something. He hates us. I would say that he hates us. He definitely has some pretty harsh words to say about me, whatever. So what? But he doesn't like Black people who are trying to bring knowledge to people and say, hey, at least try to figure out why you should vote for people who do nothing for you. So,
and we do know this. Somebody you don't curse at when they disagree with you, other than Demetra.
Yeah, I try not to do that on here. I don't really. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. I've cursed at people. It's rare that I do that. I do cuss a lot though, and a lot of times I just be joking. Like my daughter would tell y'all, my mama is crazy. I say some pretty off the wall stuff a lot. What did I say to her the other day? And she could not. I'm sure it was something highly inappropriate. Oh. Layla Hathaway. Layla Hathaway blocked me on Twitter because this is when President Biden was running for president, and she was just big up on him. And so I was, trying to school her, like, well, did you know this, that, and so we was having some kind of back and forth about it. And then said something she didn't like, and she blocked me. So then recently, Layla Hathaway, her daddy was Donnie Hathaway, and she was saying, well, it's about time that they have me on TV singing his song. That's my dad's song. Everybody's been on TV singing my song, my dad's song. And I was telling my daughter, I said that she ain't never gonna be on TV. As long as she has me blocked, and as long as she continues the raccoon, every song she sing is gonna be on YouTube. And my daughter, oh my gosh, she was just cracking up. She's like, how you make this about you? But the point that I'm making is, sometimes I say some inappropriate things. I cuss a lot. I'm gonna try to minimize. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna stop completely, but I'm gonna try to like keep it to a minimum. Okay, let's see here. Somebody said cussing is good for the soul. You know what? It is a stress reliever. I ain't gonna lie, it really is. Where did I leave off? Robin says, I think Roland hate black people, but black pepper, but loves salt. Yes, indeed. He says he's so salty for no reason. He has a mouthful towards black folks. Yes, he does. Giletta says, thanks for joining the Demetra K show. Where chats are read from the beginning to the end of the show. Yes, this is y'all show. This is the audience slash third co-host show. This is you guys' show. We love to interact with you. You guys make it so exciting. And so we are right at the second hour. I will say that Donovan and I will be back here on Tuesday with a podcast. Walter and I will be back here Wednesday. This next Sunday, I won't be here because I will be in California. I don't know, unless I go over Donovan's house. But it's Christmas, so Donovan will be, doing something. I'm sure he's got a Santa costume somewhere. He'll be doing something. So next Sunday, we won't be here. But the Sunday after that, we will be, I think. So anyway, let's get out of here. Let's see here. And Michael said, Demetra, have you swore at Asians, Hispanic, and white people? Well, y'all know I said I swore at I didn't swear at the Mexican lady. I was just repeating what she said to me.
Demetra is an equal opportunist swearer.
Yeah. I'm not a confrontational person. I don't want y'all to get the wrong idea. Like, I'm not there like, yeah, what up? And what, man? I'm not like that. I'm one of those people. I just don't like disrespect. And so I try to, I'm 51 years old. What I look like out there in them streets fighting. So I try to avoid those type of things. I don't let people get under my skin like they did when I was younger. But I've been tested a lot. I don't know. Just like one time I was coming from work. And I was selling life insurance. So I had my skirt on, my heels and stuff. And lady honked at me. I guess I was going to Walmart or something. Wasn't a grocery store. I wasn't moving fast enough. She honked at me. Then I was like, whatever, lady. I parked my car. I get out the car. She says, yeah, she's a Mexican lady. Yeah, I'll stick that heel up your ass. And I said, whatever you do, you don't do nothing else. Don't let this skirt fool you. And I told her to have a nice day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, she was with her child too. Like, what's wrong with these people? They with their kids. And it's like, I could be really, really super crazy in these streets. But I told her, I said, whatever you do, don't ever let the skirt fool you. Don't ever make that mistake. And I kept it pushing. And she had a whole lot of other stuff to say. And I was like, I'm not going to let her unravel me like that. But yeah, so I'm not one that I'm trying to rise above it now. I didn't always when I was younger. Now I have a little bit more emotional intelligence. I'm like, those people don't know me. I don't know them. Say what you want to say. And plus I know too, in Houston, they like to do a little bit more than talking, right? I've seen stories of people have road rage and they don't make it home. Like, you could cut me off. You could flip me off. You can call me everything but the child.
They can twerk with you on top of their cars.
Do what you need to do. I'm just trying to get home, okay? Because I know that they a little extra special here in Houston. So yes, indeed. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. Yes, safe travels. I will be traveling safely. Let's see who else says something on here. Yeah, they can all get it. Yes, indeed. Andre, how you doing? Says DK, look at you, all relaxed. Texas growing on you. Do I look relaxed? It's probably all that cussing I be doing. I'm wearing my hair out for now. I cut it a little bit. Y'all know I've been wearing the braids. I had to give it a break. Y'all look at all that gray hair. That it looks like it's dusty, but it's gray. It's like gray hair.
Now, look, if you're going for the Florida Evans look, she had it more in the middle and the front.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? So anyway, y'all, I love and appreciate y'all. For those of y'all, for those of y'all who celebrate Christmas and everything, Merry Christmas to you all, and Kwanzaa and whatever else you partake in. Please enjoy your holidays with your family or whatever else you do. Please have a good time. But more importantly, Y'all do stay safe out there because, it's the season to be married, but it's the season to be crazy too. And that's year round, right? So anyway, y'all, see y'all on Tuesday with Donovan and I's podcast. It won't be live, but it will be all the way live. You know what I'm saying? All right, so peace.